We're here today to talk about real estate.
Hello and welcome back to the Real Estate Unlimited podcast. My name's Sierra Steinmetz.
Bryan Schube.
Kari Steele.
Bill Jones.
And we're the Jones Home Team.
And this is episode 47. We're into all kind of weird things, Kari, right? Weird Ohio laws. Shube's getting more weird with pig butchering. We'll have to wait to see what that is.
I didn't get the weird memo.
Yeah, that's exactly. And then Sierra's just boring old housing stats, I guess. And then I'm going to get into some of the lenders going back to the 2008. Let's just give money away, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
No money down, no whatever. See if that's a good idea or not. So we'll get right into it. Sierra, what are we into?
Okay, so I just wanted to kind of go over a market overview of what's been going on. I believe these are June stats. Obviously, it's almost end of July, but based on our schedule, I figure it didn't matter too much. And I don't think that July is going to be that different either compared to June. And there really isn't a ton of change, but the median sales price is up at $280,100, and
I wish that was our market.
I know.
Right? Yeah, that's definitely not the median here.
That's up 6.8%. Number of homes sold 12,702. That's also up. And then median days on market's at 35, which I think is about. Actually, that's lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, plus 4 year over year. So it's not up much. So what the 31 days on market, I guess, prior to. So, which is still ridiculously fast.
Yeah.
Well, we're like right in the middle of summer, so I feel like these numbers are going to go down. Well, the median sale price will probably drop as it gets into fall, and then the median days on market will go up because homes will set a little bit longer as we get into October and November.
I know, just talking with a couple like possible listings that aren't ready to jump on the market quite yet because they want to do this or that. I'm like, well, go sooner rather than later, because once school starts, I feel like we usually see a lull.
The interest rates drop.
Yeah, if the interest rates
drop.
drop.
Holding on, I look in the mirror every day and I'm like, come on, baby. Let them
Which
drop
I think they have a
0.5%.
meeting tomorrow,
Yeah.
I think, then.
Okay.
So I don't know I have no idea what they're going to do, but
Like, we don't need it to drop dramatically to where we can't keep up, because that would be bad. But if they could just do this gradual scale, that would just get everybody like,
yeah, it doesn't need to drop 3 points immediately.
No.
Yeah. I mean, but by all means, go right ahead if that's all right.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But that's a valid observation, Kari. I think you're exactly right. If the rates drop 1.5%, 2%, I think it's going to be off to the races again.
Yeah, and then we'll be like working like it was a couple of years ago, not last year or the year prior, but before that. We were working through the winter time, showing houses and snow
it was just
up to our
busy as it was during the summer. So median days on market will drop to 7.5 days.
our will to live will drop to 7%.
Seriously, energy drink sales will go through the roof because everybody will be like, oh.
So just another little stat they had here that I thought was kind of interesting. Top 10 metros in Ohio with the fastest growing sales price. And the reason that this stuck out to me is because our little Findlay, Ohio, that's about 25-ish minutes away from us, that we also have an office there as well, made this list right in the middle there. And then Marion and Ashland are pretty close to us as well. So I just thought that was kind of funny that there's actually a few spaces that are at least near us.
Around us.
Marion and Ashland are a little bit farther, but Findlay's right next door. So,
we were talking before we went on then, like Chris pointed out with Amazon and Intel and all them going in there. I think some of that slowed some, but it's still, I think that's going to put rocket fuel on that market.
Absolutely.
We talked previously, building down there like crazy. Every time I've driven down there, there's new developments and a ton of new spec houses going up. So, which should hopefully bleed over more into our market. If you can't afford, what's the median? When you say 280, that you're not touching anything down that area for that. We covered that a few podcasts ago where it was like $400,000 or $500,000, I think was a price. So if you're coming there and don't want to spend that much, come on up here. Right? We'll gladly sell you a house for less than 280 and
no kidding.
Be something nice. That's cool. Yeah. So Findlay, number 5 out of 10? Top metros, and it was Mass on Solon. Yeah, so there's a few of them ahead of us, but
which I wouldn't have really necessarily considered Findlay a metro.
I was just thinking that, like metro to.
I think it's just big enough. I think it's on a threshold to where it's just quite big enough to make that then. Because for our franchise, they considered that a large market, even though it's not that much bigger than Tiffin. But
interesting.
Yep. Well, cool.
That's what
All
I
right.
got.
Well, let me know when Tiffin's on there. We'll come back to that then, too. All right, sweet. We'll go right into my favorite topic of pig butchering. What in the world?
Love me some bacon.
How do we do that? But it is connected to one of my favorite things ever I see. So
pig butchering, which I guess is a nickname for a cryptocurrency scam. So over 60 real estate agents nationwide fell victim to a scam known as what I guess they're calling pig butchering, losing a combined total of about $15 million. So how the scam was working, scammers typically contact agents via text or social media posing as high-budget cash buyers. They build trust by showing fake profits and encouraging small initial investments. Once an agent invests more, the scam then kind of unfolds.
wait, real quick, have you guys? I've gotten this.
Yes.
Have you guys all gotten this message
before? It was pretty big
before?
during COVID. Like a couple years ago, I was getting them all the time.
Yeah.
Especially from California.
Let's talk on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Yeah, like-
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Okay.
Always
Yeah.
WhatsApp.
Yes, like let's connect on WhatsApp.
And their budget's ridiculous. Like you were just
I'm
talking
go- I
about
ca- I'm
finding a
gonna
nice
spend-
house for under $280,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, your budget's $2.4 million, and you're looking for a whatever. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to build it because those don't exist here.
Sure. And it seemed like we get the same one. I'm going to spend 1.2 million, or I'm going to spend 2.3 million,
Yeah.
and they'd show you some screenshot or whatever. So,
Yeah.
So you haven't gotten those?
No, I have gotten the Let's Connect on WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, yeah.
With like the $1 million budget.
Right.
And then you ask them a question, and it comes back a computer-generated answer. It's not even relevant to
Oh.
what you said. Like,
I guess I haven't
you know,
responded
is
enough
your
to them.
is your mother-in-law moving with you too? Yes, of course we need 4 bedrooms and 2 I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not what I asked.
All right. Sorry. Anyway,
Sorry,
that's-
yeah.
I'll get it. So it relies on slowly fattening the victim before taking the full amount. They gain, an agent's trust, show returns, and then vanish after large payments. So there's a couple of victim stories here. So Terry Radcliffe from Franklin, Tennessee, believes she was dealing with a broker with a $3 to $5 million budget. She invested over $200,000, even using her home equity, only when an investor friend showed her the site could fake results generate fake results. She finally realized it was a scam, possibly involving a deep fake or impersonator. She reported it to law enforcement. And then another one, Heather Samuel, Raleigh, North Carolina, lost $815,000.
Oh my
She had a
gosh.
FaceTime-based relationship with a buyer. She withdrew small amounts that seemed real before investing heavily. When asked for security deposits to release her funds, she realized it was fraudulent, reported it to law enforcement, FBI, and Secret Service.
which I'm sure is just gone. There's no way they're
I'm
catching
guessing
whoever that is, I'm sure.
they're probably not getting that money back. Agents, so FBI agents, Secret Service, suspect deepfake technology may have been used in video scenarios to make the scam appeal legitimate, posing as real buyers or brokers in a virtual setting then.
Which is only going to get worse. We just talked about that recently then, too. The AI fake stuff, like you can generate something or get a little snippet of your voice, and next thing you know, it sounds like Kari talking or looking like you. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, so NAR suggests obviously avoid mixing business with personal or romantic angles. Be skeptical of overly friendly, well-invested prospects. Some red flags to watch out for. If someone's refusing to meet in person, request you to invest via an unknown crypto platform, unexpected maintenance deposits to access funds, pressure into making fast decisions, inconsistencies in identity. So if their stories keep changing or there's something weird there. Screen consistently across all clients to reduce both scam risks and fair housing exposure. And then some tools. Obviously, we have forewarned that we can kind of do some background research on some people before, I guess, utilize those tools that your board or you have access to then. So
So the Agent Alert Pro, I haven't heard of that one.
yeah, I haven't
Looking at
either.
it.
And I didn't hear the.
But so many of these are tough, because I mean, you and I just had one. We never met the people till they have bought the house, recently. So but I mean, I guess you kind of get a feel for, is this person real or are they not? It's, there's so many of those warnings that are all, should be red flags, but I think most of those we've had instances where it's been a legit person. So,
Yeah. Which, from my understanding of just reading the articles and stuff, what it sounded like was, these people were saying, hey, we're looking to, here's our budget, $3 to $5 million.
Right.
And then they're, they start getting into other conversations. They're like, hey, by the way, have you, ever invested in cryptocurrency or something like that?
Sure.
And then they walk you through how to set up, a crypto wallet and do all of those things. And then again, since they helped you set it up, they have access to that,
right.
and then start funding that account, and then they wind up just waiting until they don't do it until there's enough in there or they think it's worth it, and then once you put enough in there, they just pull it all out and I guess take it. So,
and I think that's the type of text message that I got back in, it's been a couple of years.
Sure.
But that was very. I remember getting one on the treadmill at the YMCA.
And you get excited. I got a $1 million buyer. I'm golden. Yeah.
I remember where I was when that conversation took place.
So yeah, if someone, I guess, with a big budget wants you to start opening a crypto wallet, investing money, I would probably shy away from that.
Right.
Unless it's Bryan Schube.
Right. Because we had a real world example not that long ago. One of our agents here in town did that. They showed me screenshots. You talked about this, like the wallet. So it was one of these WhatsApp, whatever, but they were texting a lot of this stuff, and they showed funds. So they showed a screenshot of like something couple $1 million in funds, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, things like that. But you mentioned that, so you can there's any one of these apps like CoinGecko you can use, and you can put any number you want. You can make yourself look like a multi-billionaire if you want. You just go in there and add numbers, and it's just tracking. It's just a wallet to track numbers, but it looks like I've got $10 million or doing whatever. So it's so easy to do that. And then the wallets, you're exactly right then too. If someone's helping you, if they get what they call your seed phrase, they have access. It's just like you're sharing a little physical wallet or a purse. You both, they're shoving money in there, and they have every right just to grab it right out of there. It's permissionless. There's no one that can really monitor or stop it. It's not like you can go into the bank and say, hey, I didn't authorize this transaction. It's if someone has those seed phrases, they can take that money like it's there. It's gone. Yeah, that's scary.
So from the agent standpoint, I guess just something to watch out for. I mean, obviously, it's one of those, you say it can't happen to you, but I'm sure those 60 agents that lost $15 million thought the same thing.
No kidding.
Right.
So were they the pig getting butchered? They fattened him up and then...
I mean, I
that
guess that kind of makes sense, They fattened him up and took him out.
Took him behind the woodshed? I don't get it.
Took him behind the woodshed.
They totally could have come up with a better word than that. Like, that just totally does not go to... cryptocurrency scam with that, but
and they're always getting more creative with that stuff. So
yeah, for sure. That's so what's the takeaway? I don't know. Us agents, just be aware.
Don't respond to anything.
Yes, so you never get another lead again.
Anytime I guess I've ever gotten a message from WhatsApp, it's I just you're skeptical.
I'm trying to think if I've ever had a legitimate WhatsApp.
I don't think I've ever had
I don't
one.
think. Because when we've been out of the country, they use that a lot.
I was going to say
stuff,
there are people that are out of the country that use it.
Right.
I
can't think
Ohio,
of a deal that necessitated that. Okay,
yeah,
you can email me, text me, call me.
One of those. Right. Usually when I go out of the country, I pay the extra $100 for the cell service so I can text, call. So
you sound like a pig waiting to be butchered with all that money. So
I don't think so.
All right. Well, Kari, what do you got here? I just pulled up a website. I don't think it's the one you reference here, but 10 of the weirdest laws.
Yeah, weird laws. So it started with looking for weird laws that have to do with real estate and housing. And then I'm like, but this is so much more fun.
Right.
So there are a couple that are relevant to, owning a home and being a property owner in Ohio, but some of these are just fun. So the first one is whale fishing on Sundays. So I suppose that it's illegal to fish for whales in Ohio, but only on Sundays.
Let's not say what whale are you fishing for? That's wild.
I was like in my head, like, wait.
Like you wonder.
Is that a typo? While fishing? No.
But I wonder what happened because obviously something had to transpire in order for them to put this in place. So I wonder, like, what is the backstory on some of these laws?
Yeah, this website, same thing. Whale fishing. It's illegal to fish for whales on Sundays. Technically means you still go whaling any other day. So there are no whales in Ohio waters anymore. They're extinct now.
They're extinct.
They're whaled to death, I guess.
You can't dye rabbits or baby chicks. So come Easter. Good. Yeah, I mean, I see people do that with like their poodles and their dogs and stuff. They make them look like zebras and all that, but you can't do it to ducks or baby chicks. So or rabbits.
Rabbits.
Why would you want to do that?
I mean, it prevents their sale, raffle, or giveaway. So I don't know. Maybe they. I don't even know.
Okay.
Rural King. I don't know.
Right.
Honking when passing. So this is one I don't know.
Oh my God. I've been arrested so many times.
The Ohio Driver's Ed Manual allegedly states that drivers must honk their horn every time they pass another car.
Yeah, I got a cop buddy of mine that backed that up then too, because you're supposed to signal. You're not, well, just me driving through town beeping at people is illegal apparently too. That's not okay, because it's a signaling of a traffic.
Your whole family would just go down
we'd all
because
be in jail.
We're driving by waving at everybody.
So yeah, next time you pass somebody, honk and wave too.
Yeah, I
Honk
didn't
and
know
wave.
that.
Just
I
don't
feel
show
like
your
that would
dyed
just
chicken.
make them mad.
Right.
They'd be like, okay, you're already passing me, douche.
Yeah, like why do you need to
Yeah,
honk at
why do
me?
you need to honk at me?
Yeah.
I guess maybe in really bad inclement weather would make sense. You know, if you're driving down 224, it's foggy, just a heads up, hey, I'm passing you. But other than that, I don't know.
I wouldn't hear you anyway, so I have my headphones on, watching a movie, so no.
All right, I'm calling the cops on Bill.
Calling the cops. So this one is real estate related. So no more than 5 women in a house. And it says this law is attributed to the anti-brothel efforts, although enforceability, it's hard to justify that. And I was talking to Chloe about it. I'm like, so what if like you and a bunch of your friends decide to rent like a massive house?
I was going to say,
or college,
I've
like,
rented a massive house before, and there was at least 5 of us, and we were all women.
Well, there's no more than 5. You're fine, right? You can have 5, just no more.
but it says in a house. It doesn't say living there. It doesn't say like, so what?
I agree with this 100%. Like, I think it should be lowered maybe, actually.
So when I go on a showing and a bunch of friends show up, it'd be like, sorry, we can only have 5.
Ohio law state.
You have to wait outside.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait outside.
Did you honk while passing, getting here, and only 5 of you can come in?
No patent leather shoes in public. I saw that one. It says something about what color are your shoes or something. And it's supposedly in Cleveland.
What are your shoes made of?
Yeah, patent leather shoes because they're saying that you can see up women's skirts with the.
Oh my God.
Like, really?
Are these really still on the books?
I don't know. I mean, it's aimed at preventing men from seeing reflections of women's underwear in their shoes.
And you know what? Period.
Okay.
What do you stick in your black shirt?
I don't even know what patent
Yeah, what is
leather
patent leather? I don't
shoe.
even know.
Like
That sounds stupid.
shiny, like
Oh,
50s
okay, all
patent
right.
leather saddle shoe, like
Okay.
shiny shoe. But why? What? I don't know.
That's
You'd have to
crazy.
get awfully close and do a slip
Right.
through to like.
That's
I
ridiculous.
I feel like they would realize what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that'd be pretty apparent if I'm like trying to look at your shoes. Like,
Just bend over and shine my shoes
Yeah.
here. No swimming, or no signs at swimming pools. The law in Akron prohibits the posting of signs at swimming pools, even potentially safety warnings.
that's weird.
Yeah, so like, no peeing in the pool, not allowed.
Yeah.
No
Like
running.
no running or no swimming
No
without
diving.
a parent. No diving.
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like
even
that's a
safer.
liability.
Yeah, right.
It is.
Sorry, couldn't post the
So,
sign. Yeah.
Yeah. No catching mice without a hunting license. That's Cleveland specifically, because
Gosh,
apparently
Cleveland is so
it's
wild,
illegal to catch
man.
mice without a hunting license.
That's stupid.
But let's listen to this. Columbus, you can't sell cornflakes on Sunday. I mean, the Columbus ordinance makes it illegal to sell cornflakes on Sunday. What if I want
Why?
some
God forbid.
cornflakes?
Not on God's day.
Not on God's day.
That's weird. I could like the whole liquor thing is something, but yeah, cornflakes.
Cornflakes,
I need
but there must
some
be
vodka and some
something.
cornflakes immediately.
Not on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You're
I
not in
hate the
Columbus.
city.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go to Marion where you
Okay, where you can do that.
Next fastest growing metro.
yeah. Notify authorities if your dangerous animal escapes. A 2006 Ohio
I
revised
hope.
code requires owners of dangerous and
Well, my dogs are pretty scary, but I don't know.
Was that the guy up in like
Yes,
Woodville
I'm-
area?
I know exactly what that's
No,
from. Yeah.
Zanesville. Weren't we just talking
Oh,
about
the wilds.
this?
Yes.
Who was talking to me
the
about
tigers that the dude let out?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that ever happened. That there was just like a bunch of wild
Which
animals.
this is sad, but those cops loved it because it was like a hunting safari that they
Actually.
could never go on, and they were just murdering these animals. It's terrible, it's awful, but like I know for a fact those guys were hog heaven down there, pig
Pig
butchering
butchering.
like crazy down there. Which I'm sure was sad for some of them, but like, when do you ever go get to do an exotic animal hunt? Like,
this
never.
is true,
You know, this
especially
is-
in Ohio.
I mean, you guys wouldn't know because more than 5 of you aren't allowed in the house at a time to talk about it. But that's, yeah, that would be. I'm sure that's where that came from.
So that you can verify these laws. There's a link, Ohio Revised Code, and so you can go. If I thought about doing some of the local, like West Virginia, Pennsylvania, just the states that are closest to us. But heck, if you're listening from anywhere and you want to check it out, you can Google your state and see if there's any funky laws.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I wonder if these are unique to Ohio, or is that a
Sierra.
ton? I mean, every state.
Do you
want
to go on Sunday to Columbus and get some cornflakes with me?
Yes.
I don't think it will be very fruitful, but we can try.
See if you get arrested.
Yeah, what happens? Do they just like tackle you in the
I don't know,
know,
yeah.
right?
I'd like
you
some,
buy them, and then all of a sudden
Or
a
the
cop
scanner.
comes out
You
from
just
the
like
back.
go up to the self scanner and it just
And it just
doesn't.
won't
It won't
scan.
scan.
No, you got to go to the back alley. Bro, can I get some cornflakes? Yeah.
I got 20 for some.
Yeah.
Trench coat and we've got like all those little like square cornflakes.
That's wild. All right. I'll try to make this one here quick then too. So all right, Sierra, I'm putting on my old man hat. We were just talking about age again before we went on here. So 2008,
that.
you weren't paying attention to the financial world, right? Probably
As a
not.
child.
So we've talked about this before. It was rough. So 2005, 6, 7, all the way up to 8, they had the subprime mortgages, and they're just giving money to anybody. I've told these stories several times. Shouldn't have been doing that. Caused an entire financial collapse then. So it took years and years and years to come back from. So now mortgage lenders, again, they're trying to make loans. Things have been slow. So they're like, what do we do? So let's do 100% mortgages again. So as you guys all know, like when you're buying a house, people usually need a down payment of some kind. There's some loans, VA, USDA, you can get away with not bringing money to the closing table. But now as UWM, I think a couple others are doing 100% mortgages, but with a catch. I got a bunch of these stats here then too. So United Wholesale Mortgage recently launched a zero-down mortgage program aimed at first-time home buyers and low to moderate income families. Instead of requiring the typical 3% down, or I guess to say more, you know what I mean? I guess 3% is usually the minimum. You know, we'd suggest 10 or 20% if you could do it. UWM offers a second loan up to $15,000 that covers that cost of the down payment. So just real quick, you're getting a second mortgage on your first mortgage already then
Just
to
to
cover
it.
this down payment. But the good news is this comes as a second lien with zero interest and no monthly payment. So you don't necessarily have to pay it back now yet, but 0%. But must be paid back in full if the borrower sells, if the borrower refinances, or the borrower pays off that primary mortgage. So it's positioned in a way to make the home ownership more accessible, especially to buyers who are cash strapped, but the structure raises some red flags. Yeah, I think so.
So is that, I mean, doesn't that sound like the welcome home funds?
Kind of, so yeah, I
Like,
think so. Where you can
they're-
use that,
Yeah.
and you'd still have to pay it back, you know, possibly.
If you sell.
But I think this is almost even worse because I mean, at least that's a grant
Yeah.
that you don't have to pay back after so many years. This just stays there, so you're in essence,
Regardless of whether you refinance or sell it or whatever, you're gonna have to pay it
You're paying
back.
it no
you're
matter
paying
what.
it back.
Yeah.
Yes, one way or another, you're going to pay it back, and it's one of the first things they need pay back if you do anything. So the catches are they're looking at the area median income. So
Yeah.
the area median income is what half of people make in the area then. So it's basically the middle line. So lenders use this. Housing agencies use it to determine eligibility for programs like down payment assistance. So UWM zero down mortgage borrowers must earn no more than 80% of their local AMI. So I've looked to see, of course, using ChatGPT. Okay, what's an AMI for this area? What kind of home can we buy for this? So many parts of Ohio, that is $45,000 to $60,000 in income. So this program is meant to expand access, but also introduces serious risk. So the pros, no upfront down payment required. That 3% is covered by the lender. I don't know why they say covered by the lender because you're
They don't.
agreeing to pay
Yeah.
it back then.
Yeah.
So 0%, no monthly payment. Helps these people do it, allows more flexibility, and to act quickly when cash reserves are low. So I guess my first question is, if your cash reserves are that low or you have no money, should you be buying a house in the first? I mean, don't get me wrong. I want everybody to buy a house, for a lot of reasons. For their, peace of mind, have a roof over their head. For our business, everybody, buy all the houses you can. But I think make sure you can afford them.
Bless you.
Make sure you
Thank
can
you.
get through that. So cons, risks. Again, you got a $15,000 loan that's due in full the second you do anything. You sell, refi, do whatever. That is due immediately. It does not cover the closing costs, so they still need to come up with that. It encourages 100% financing. So, I mean, let me ask you this. If you go to most borrowers, especially a lower income person, and say, okay, you probably should put 10 or 20% down, but you can put nothing down. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
It's like going to buy a car. You can put $37.99, or you could do 0 with a higher monthly payment.
Well, I'll take that little higher monthly payment
Yeah.
then. So it encourages that, leaving zero equity. That's what I'm going to come back to. So echoes risky lending practices from before the 2008 financial crisis, which relied on raising home prices to bail out over-leveraged buyers. So that's, I guess, to me, my experience from that was that. So, and I've told the story 1,000 times to where a guy goes in, buys a home. This is a real world story. Buys a home. We're sitting at the closing table. He brought zero money, and they wrote him a check at closing. So he brought nothing to the closing table. Was buying this house, and they were handing him a check for like $3,600. And he kept asking, "Well, when's my first payment?" Well, dude, you got 45 days, 60 days for that. Well, how much is that going to be? Again, he had no clue at that point then, too. Something probably was presented, but at that time he didn't know. And he has this $3,600. He's already going to go spend that on a big screen TV or whatever at the time then, too. So he's worried about when his first payment is. I'm like, it's not for like 60 days. You got like a month and a half, 2 months. Okay, well, good, because I need to start saving up for that. I'm like, bro, you're getting keys to a home today, and you brought zero here. They're handing you money, and you still don't know how you're making your first month's payment.
That's insane.
So,
oh my Lord.
Water, sewer, gas, trash,
all
electric.
of that. So the whole premise was that at that time, like it is now, prices continue to go up.
Yeah.
So I think these lenders just thought, okay, prices are going to go up forever. Like there's no pullback ever. Prices never going to come down. That makes sense. So if you're financing 100%, prices still go up. It appreciates value.
Right.
So you can build some equity. But the second the market levels off, or God forbid starts to dip, which will happen. I mean, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. I don't know when. Now suddenly you're at just easy numbers, $100,000 loan, $100,000 house. Mm-hmm. The market tanks 5%, 10%, 20%. So now you've got an $85,000 house, a $100,000 mortgage that you put nothing into with a $10,000 second mortgage on it, or I don't know what the math would be on that. And you need to sell. You lost your job, you're moving, you had a kid, whatever. Yeah. What do you do? So now you got to pay an agent. Maybe, you don't have to, but you should pay an agent to sell your home. You're already 15% underwater on your property. What do you do? I mean, you're in trouble. I don't know how the whole, like the market's going to go up forever. Math just doesn't math. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Unless
I don't
you're
like
in Columbus, apparently.
Right, you're down there. Yeah, you're next to Intel. Who cares? You finance 110%, I guess, then too. So, but and again, not to bash on the mortgage, lenders and things like that, but they don't care as long as they can fit it in the box and sell it on the secondary market. They're done with it. They wash their hands of it. They go relend that money, make more origination fees, and move on. But then at least somebody holding the bag. Somebody buys these big tranches of loans. And then when these people start defaulting, maybe if they're no fault of their own, they're sold a bad bill of goods up front. Then someone's got this, $1 billion mortgage package, a tranche that they've bought that people are defaulting on, and we're just setting the recipe, I feel like, for 2008 2.0 again.
Not agents though, because when we sell it, if we sell it high, knowing that there's zero wiggle room for them, and they're like, we're gonna have you sell it in 2 years. Like, you're going to be, if they bought way over budget, you're going to be stuck trying to sell that in 2 years. So even more reason agents, be proactive in knowing what the market is and what they're buying.
It's not our business to get into their financials and things like that, but I
think
it's
our job to represent them, appropriately or the best we know how.
Right. So I don't know what the right solution is. And, I hate to turn somebody down. I mean, obviously if they're going to buy a house, they're going to buy a house. Yeah. We're in that business where we want to sell them that house. That's how we get paid then. But yeah, I just feel like it's setting us up for, not a good thing then again.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to, at least on our end, the least we can do is have good relationships with like trustworthy lenders that are going to not set someone up for failure to the best of their ability, at least, or just be realistic with them. Like, you need to do X, Y, and Z before this is going to be a possible situation for you, or this is what your limits are. I wouldn't go much past that, stuff like that, just to like really walk them through that process.
Don't buy the Hellcat and go to the concert when you don't know how you're going to pay your
first month's payment then too. That's just insane. And there's not nowhere near those lenders. I don't think any of you guys were paying attention to those lenders at that time. I've just been the old dog at that point.
I was in second grade.
I own my house already, but
but I mean, there were some just shady AF lenders. I mean, there just were. I've seen people forging documents. I've seen all kind of stuff like that, just to where, I mean, I guess I didn't physically see it, but I mean, come to find out, we're at the closing table. They're like, oh, where's this? Where's that? And it just magically appears. And I mean, they were printing money at that time, and they were making big money, and they didn't care. They were making loans. So, and then that's a business they're in. I get it. They have to make loans to make money, but I just don't like that. I feel like it's just going to get worse and worse. If things, like we were talking earlier, if rates just come down, I feel like that will help a lot. That'll help with affordability. It'll get things moving again. But how much house can you even buy at that? So if you're making $45,000, I had the math here somewhere, you could pay up to, I think it's almost $1,000 a month towards your mortgage payment then too. So, but that didn't leave you very much then too.
I feel like the whole 36% thing is skewed now because of inflation.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
Sure. I mean,
like there's a lot of people that are downgrading houses just for cost and affordability because they want to maintain the life that they have.
Sure.
It's not a matter of they can't afford it. They can
Right.
afford it, but can they still afford to live the lifestyle that they want if they're house broke or house poor? So.
Right. And that's the other side of it then too. So that's banking on them bringing no money. They bought a house, whatever, and nothing ever going wrong.
Right.
Your car doesn't break down. The furnace doesn't break down. The roof isn't leaking.
No deductibles on insurance.
Yeah, like your insurance doesn't skyrocket.
Or,
taxes don't go up. So you're stuck. If the market even just stays flat, maybe not worst case scenario, but like still a good scenario, market goes flat, you're not gaining any value in your home. But yeah, any of those costs could come about and I think to sink you so fast. I don't know. Tough. So I don't know. I guess my advice would be save your money. I mean, Kelly and I did that. I mean, you just plan. You have to.
Yeah.
You want it today.
Yeah.
You want that new car today. You want that new house today. But I think, Schube, how long did you and Lil, you guys plan for?
2 years.
I mean, years to start building. Kelly and I did the same thing. We budgeted for years and years, and it sucks. You want it right now. You want it yesterday. I mean, even if it's
take your time.
Yeah, Bobby and I are there on our goals, and we're just like sitting there treading water, and it sucks because you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and it's like time. That's all it's just gonna be time.
Right. Yeah. You just got to be smart with your money and save it and do that. So I would recommend against 100% mortgage probably, but I'm no financial advisor, so. But I love the crypto stuff, so and talk about that. Let me know.
Yeah,
it makes me hungry.
Hit me up on WhatsApp.
Anybody want some sausage?
All right, we good?
Yeah.
Great.
So.
All right, that's 47 in the bag. We will see you next time. Episode 48. Like, subscribe, do all those fun things. We will see you next time.
I feel like I want to be like.
Yeah.